Hey guys, it's Old Man G here, back again, and we're back. We're back with a Red Devil Studio live. I know it's quite late, so if anyone tuning in or going to tune in or going to be listening to this late, welcome back. We're hoping to make these more of a regular appearance due to popular demand because people seem to want these episodes to come back, which is fine enough, which is good. I hope we have a bit of fun. So we've got a lot of key topics to talk about, but I'm just going to introduce. I'm with.
Team Chicago won.
Ahmed.
So Team Chicago won. Ahmed, both Arsenal fans here to discuss some of these key topics that we're basically going to talk this evening. So let's get straight into it, just because we don't have a lot of time. The first thing is, as a lot of people will be aware about, England obviously played Bulgaria this week. And English players, specifically Raheem Sterling and Tyrone Mings-Were subject to a lot of racist abuse and racist chants. And while of course the Bulgarian Prime Minister and even the Bulgarian officials in the stadium, I think were very good at handling the situation and announcing the whole thing and just basically saying like, this is wrong. I think there's a lot of eyes on UEFA as an organisation right now as to how they're handling it. Is it just going to be a simple fine? How do you actually tackle or deal with this situation properly, or is this just going to be just a regular occurrence? So I'll give it to Team Takage to start.
Well, I thought they handled it well. It's the first time I think we've seen that the new protocol used. I don't remember any other games that I've seen it, so maybe this is the first one. So the first protocol was to stop the game and let people know, right, that there's been whatever going on. And so what's the second step? Yeah, what's the second step? The second step is to announce to the fans, or
yeah, I think there's like
the first step was to announce to them and let them know. The second one was to potentially stop the match for about 10 to 15 minutes.
Right, and then third is
cut
the game,
abandon the game.
Yeah. So I think they did all right. Obviously, you could kind of see with Kane it's being a good captain. They were ready to go at any point. I think they stopped the game for quite a while. And obviously it's that's the first time we've seen anything like that, but it's not going to be perfect, but something's being done. And it was, Ian Wright was saying it's progress. It's not going to be, amazing, but something is being done about it. What was crazy though, I don't know if they came in at the same time with each other, but it was like a 20 to 30 people in hoods, black hoods. I think these were the people that were starting it and doing the Nazi chants and things like that. Yeah, the Bulgarian fans. I was like, how did they just get into the stadium that easily? Unless they came in maybe different stands or something and sat with each other. But I'm sure that should have been alarm bells.
Yeah.
Because they started it, but when they left, those chants were still being made in the second half.
Yeah.
But then again, it could have been they could have set a precedent. So these guys started it, and then when kind of a small amount of people influence something, other people we'll join in with that kind of stuff too. So. I don't know how they got in the first place, but so that could be something the Bulgarian could have sorted out. But yeah, I think they did a decent job in the end.
UEFA did.
Yeah, UEFA did a good job.
We're saying UEFA did a good job. We're saying the actual I separate organisations because I think that I give props to the Bulgarian the officials that were there. I give props also to the Prime Minister who openly condemned this whole situation, even called for the head of FA to be sacked because of the situation.
And he did resign.
He resigned. Yeah. So I give props to them. I don't give props to UEFA as an organisation because when you look at the Swansea UEFA, they was okay. Yeah, we'll look into it.
Oh, yeah.
And then essentially they just opened disciplinary action against Bulgaria and England. And what do you think is going to happen from that? They're going to be right, okay, yeah, so we're just going to fine you.
True.
Well, I feel at least the fact that this protocol that Josh talked about is in place, and I feel the actual match officials were empowered to use it which I feel in the past, I think they might have been sort of
a
bit scared of reluctant to start any sort of procedures, because we've seen this so many times over the years. I think that's a good point for UEFA. I don't know about the Bulgarian, sort of whole football association.
No,
They had trouble with Kosovo and Bosnia before this. Wasn't it half of the stadium wasn't full because of that?
Exactly. Yes, yeah.
And the other thing was the FA, whoever the head of their FA, denied, and he was actually said, "I'm offended that people think racism is going to happen before the match, pre-match." And actually, during the match, I don't know if you saw the coach, the Bulgarian coach, was denying that any racism was happening. The goalkeeper denied anything.
I didn't hear anything. Like, sure.
Yeah, that was disgraceful.
I didn't see the Nazi. Like, even if you didn't hear anything, what you're gonna deny? Like, people literally taking pictures of Nazi salutes, so you can deny I didn't hear, but like, what was blind or something? I don't understand.
And I was like browsing Instagram before the match. The amount of like hate posters and things that were posted outside the stadium was appalling, really, to see. So hopefully this will be the start of something.
So what should happen? What should happen to Bulgaria, the national team? What should happen? Should anything happen?
Well, I think they should receive a hefty fine, not those slap on the wrist fines that teams usually get. And the other thing I think is they should ban them from having any supporters in the stadium for at least two games, if not more.
Okay.
Do you think that would be enough?
I don't think it'll be near enough, but it'll be a start. Yeah. I can't see what else is potentially. I can't see what else is potential. What do you think should be done?
I just think they should be kicked out of the. Hayden, how you doing? You all right? Do you want me to? We're going live. Do you want to come on as well? Let me know if you want to come on as well. I can WhatsApp you. Let me know. Go on. I mean,
because if it's a minority, I would like to think it's a minority of the fans in that stadium who were causing all the ruckus. So I don't think kicking the entire team out.
I get you, but like I think if you if everybody's punished, then they're going to be like, well, that minority is not going to do that again because everybody's being punished, and then this minority.
There's also the fact that like it's a top head down thing. So when you're the FA is like, I'm offended. When the coach is like, I didn't hear any racism. So you kind of see what I mean. So like already that sort of tells me that like either you're not serious or you're not sensitive, or like something is just not quite right. So
they have precedent as well.
So like it'd be different if it was like, oh right, okay, we've done all these things, we've shown that we've gone and actually are dealing with the sort of situation, and it just so happens that we've got one or two people that are coming in and making those things. That's fine. But when you, as we said, we come in with a precedent where they've already did the abuse to the Kosovo and are going to in the previous games. The head of the FA has denied that there's any form of racism, and the head coach is saying that. Then you kind of sort of think like, a one-off is fine, but when you have like a pattern of behaviour, you now start to think, you've been fined before, and we're going to fine you again. What's going to
stopping the fans from coming is a big thing as well, I think. Because I can't think of any other solutions other than you said banning them from the competition altogether, or potentially not letting them play their home games in Sofia, playing them somewhere else.
Neutral play.
I can't think of anything else though. It's a lot more difficult, I feel, with national teams than it would be with clubs, where you can easily deduct points, do loads more than you can potentially do here.
That's fair enough.
Fair
enough. Anyone want to add any more comments? Any more comments to that at all? Or okay, fair enough. Yeah. So, I mean, I think we're all in general agreement that like at least things obviously are going in the right direction, and this is something that hasn't happened before. But I think we're also in agreement that we know that this isn't the end, and also more needs to be done to tackle these types of things massively.
And I think with the technology that we have now, you could really single out people,
individuals. Yes, yeah.
And that's what they should be doing. It's like what's happening in Italy.
Yeah.
They don't seem to be wanting to do anything.
Well, so this is a number, and I'll put in there before we went sort of time. So for all the stick with the Bulgarian FA and the whole situation has, you can at least see that the reaction response has happened. In Serie A, there have been multiple incidents of this.
And very recently.
And you're like, okay, so what exactly has happened? Nothing. So Caligari, I think, being the prime example where they've done it in back-to-back seasons, and the owner's been like, racism only exists in your heads, which is...
I think that's almost
that's so
that cool.
It's just, like, all right then, okay. So people may see Bulgaria as, Bulgaria has more of it, and Italy should in theory have less of it, but we can clearly see that they're at least trying to do something about it and have acknowledged it, whereas Italy
seem to be in denial.
You had the Prime Minister of Bulgaria being outraged about what's calling in. I didn't see any Italian Prime Minister or any Italian
who do you think? People like I don't know who that Prime Minister.
Yeah,
Berlusconi was a racist himself.
A racist and a philanderer, So like he loved his woman. Anyway, we're going off topic, but yes, racism is still an issue in this day and age, and especially in sports. But at least generally, we think that what happened with England was the right thing. But obviously, more needs to be done. Right. Let's moving on for the time, and we're going to talk about this man. Now, it pains me. It really does pain me to say it or to mention it. But Sadio Mane, I'll make the case, and I'll ask the question. I'll leave it to Team Takag and Ahmed. Is that, do you think that Sadio Mane is at this moment in time on current form the best player in the world? And if yes, why? If yes, why? And if no,
to think about it.
You think?
Yeah, I need a bit more time to think about that one too. But so you look at his current form now. I think he's 2 or 3 off top goal scorer in the Premier League, and he's got how many in the Champions League? You look at the consistency over the past 3 seasons. When Klopp first joined, he was up there. Obviously, Salah had a ridiculous season that first season, so no one was going to top that. And then you look at last season, Firmino kind of dipped a little bit. Salah definitely dipped. I mean, you're not going to... He still won Golden Boot, but it was the way he wasn't as clinical as he was in the first season. And, Mane shared Golden Boot with Aubameyang and Salah. And Mane's kind of just... So his first season he was good. Like, he was probably second best to Salah, third best to Salah and Firmino. And then the second season, he's going up. And then now he's just... I don't know, like, a Liverpool fan who's been on this podcast, he's saying he feels that Mane is more important than Salah, like, arguably better as well. And there's something about him, like his impact in a team. I'm not saying when Salah isn't there, Liverpool aren't as good. But when Mane's not there, you can see the difference so much.
Yeah.
His work ethic, I remember when there was a Liverpool training video, and he just come back from the African Cup of Nations, and he was joking around with Robertson. It's like, you look bad that game because I wasn't there helping you defending. But it's true. Like, I think, I don't know if it was the most recent game or the one before that. Like, Mane was his work getting back is like so underrated. And then I think there's the difference between him and Salah. Like, Mane will give you 90 minutes plus, and he's sharp. Like, he might miss a one-on-one. Salah does that too, but he's sharp. He's tracking back. He's always running. He's always free, available. And I can't really, as far as like all-round kind of wingers, I can't really think of a better player in his position. Left wing, right wing. There's maybe 1 or 2 I put ahead of him, like a striker or something like that. But as far as attackers, it's probably the best in the world for me right now.
So the question is, do you think he is at this moment in time
He's the best attacker in the world? He's the best attacker in the world.
Because this comes on to the fact that the Ballon d'Or obviously will be coming fairly soon.
Well, I think Messi, was it Messi who voted for Salah and Mane in his top 3 picks? Not the Ballon d'Or, but the one we just did.
The FIFA.
Yeah,
the best one. I think.
And Messi's picks were him, and there was someone else who picked him and Salah as well. I can't remember who it was now. I think it was Messi anyway. But yeah, so that just shows you. I mean, that's the GOAT saying it, so he says it must be true. But yeah,
it's hard to argue really. He's definitely top 3.
Top 3. So who's ahead of him? Because now I'm down there. If we're thinking okay, who is actually
like right now form?
On form right now on form. Because I'm thinking all positions, stuff like that.
Arguably Aubameyang's there. Let's be honest.
It's probably a better form, I would think.
Is he?
Similar form.
Let's be honest. He's got was it 7 and 7?
Yeah, and he's kind of carried Arsenal a bit through a lot of these matches.
For the past.
Yeah.
How many? Like, let's be honest. Like, for the past how many seasons? If he was a Kane or something, you know what pundits would be like about Aubameyang. He's the best in the world. Let's be honest, because Aubameyang.
The only thing I'll say about Aubameyang is that, like, coming to us that for one, like, Sadio Mane is obviously not an outright forward. You know, he's a winger. So the fact that Sadio Mane is scoring arguably the same amount of goals or similar goals as Aubameyang, despite the fact that he's not an outright forward, and the fact that, as we talked about, Sadio Mane also defends quite a bit. Aubameyang doesn't defend that much, you know. So
especially I'm not saying the last month he's been sort of in a number 9 position instead of the wing, where you don't really have to.
Yeah, because if you put Aubameyang on the wing, that's not really his. I know he's either playing for the centre, but I just think that when you have, like, at the end of the day, like, Sadio Mane's, yes, a winger's job is to also assist and to score goals, but their primary job is not to score goals. But above and below else, they are a winger to assist the forward play of Firmino, etc. Like, that's not their primary role. Aubameyang's primary role as a number 9 is to score goals. I mean, he's not a winger.
He's not a winger, but that's Emery's system. So,
I mean, on form this season, who's been really on form? Not too many players, I don't think. If you look at the top 5 leagues, Spain, there's no one really.
Well, we'll come on to Lewandowski, who I think is actually having a brilliant season in Bayern.
Maybe,
yeah.
Potentially, no one in Italy.
Kante, I would say.
Serge Gnabry.
Gnabry.
He's having a good season. I mean, he's been another consistent one, like you said. There's some good players out there, you know. But you know, we kind of get blinded by the big names, don't we? The Neymars, the Hazards, things like that.
I mean that. Well, we're going to talk about Neymar and Hazard in a second, anyway. But let's because we'll give us Richard. So let's get into Manu. So conclusions wise, are we saying so? Joshua said, Team Sky. So you're saying best attacking player. But if we're talking best player in the world, just in general right now, we're saying what? He's not top 3?
He's top 3.
And if he's top 3, then who's but if you're going to say he's top 3, who's ahead of him though? Because you're saying top 3, and then who's ahead of Sadio Mane right now?
Won't you say Lewandowski's ahead of him this season?
No.
I would think maybe.
I would probably I'm not a massive Lewandowski fan, just because. When I've seen him in the Champions League, when they get past like the round of 16, I'm just like, where is he? You know. But I would put I'll put Aubameyang and Lewandowski with Mane.
Because the sole reason why I say that is because of the fact that it's just that riding fact that Sadio Mane is a winger. Lewandowski and Aubameyang are outright number 9s. So the fact that you have essentially a winger who is scoring similar goals to outright forwards and is defending.
The system in Liverpool is kind of set to help out both wingers, isn't it? Firmino adopts more of a withdrawn role, doesn't he?
He's a centre forward, I agree.
No, I agree. I definitely.
But I'm thinking about it in terms of like effectiveness and sort of overall contribution to the side.
Do you play fantasy football?
I dabble, yes.
Okay, yeah. There's like a one of the segments you can look at, like sort of the influence. It's like ICT index or something like that. So like players like Trent, because he assists, he creates a lot of chances, and Mane's probably up there too because he's not just a goal scorer. The chances he creates, his work ethic, things like that. So that's why I'll put Mane in the top 3 as well, because or maybe the best, because he has. It's not just his goals. It's,
of course,
it's his whole
facet.
everything about him.
Yeah.
Like I remember he was injured right at the start of the season. I think him and Conte both played 90+ minutes in that game in the Super Cup.
Super Cup game, yeah.
I think both of them were coming back from injuries, and I think Conte played the whole 120 minutes plus penalties, and Mane played like 90+. Now, they're not normal. They're really not normal.
Yeah.
Nah, those are crazy players. But yeah.
Right. Fine. Okay. So Sadio Mane. So at least we all can seem to agree that at the very least he should be in the top 3 best players in the world. Whether he's first or not is up for debate, and we'll see obviously as the season goes. Yeah, he is definitely up there. Fair enough. Okay. So moving on. This man, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. For any United fans who'll be listening to this or watching this, Ole obviously is under a huge amount of pressure. Manchester United are playing Liverpool this Sunday, and there is growing concern that this actually might be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's last game. I think a lot of people, a lot of fans are not confident that we're going to draw, let alone win against basically a Liverpool side that's been essentially been undefeated. So I mean, I say my piece here as a United fan in that the only real hope that I have basically on Sunday is the fact that I can't remember the last time Liverpool actually beat United at Old Trafford. And last season, when we had all of our players were injured, Marcus Rashford was holding his hamstring for like 20 minutes.
So funny.
And they still not only did Liverpool not beat us, but actually I think we ended the game better than Liverpool.
I remember
So we actually have, I would argue, a stronger team. Okay, yes, Pogba isn't playing and De Gea isn't out, but Romero is a solid replacement. And while Pogba isn't in our midfield, I think that our biggest problem, midfield has always been a big problem at Manchester United, definitely. But I think, to be honest, for me, the biggest problem at United right now is just the lack of forwards and lack of finishing. We've had enough possession of the ball to be able to create chances, but we just have not had clinical finishers to put them away. Partly because we sold Lukaku, but Martial's also been injured for, essentially since the second game of the season. Yeah. So if we create chances and feed them to Martial, it's quite possible that we could get something from this game at Old Trafford.
Yeah, Liverpool.
And then, the other thing I would also say is that, like, Manchester United's problem is their lack of goal scoring. Yes, we've lost games. We actually haven't conceded that many goals. So our games we've lost, it's been by maybe 1 goal, 1-0, 1 something. We haven't actually conceded. Despite what people say, Maguire's this, that. Liverpool have conceded more goals than Manchester United have. Like, on average, sometimes 2 goals a game. They just happen to have scored more goals and they can score more goals. For me, it's essentially going to be a question of attack versus defence. So will Manchester United's defence be able to sustain Liverpool's attack? Or will Manchester United be able to, through Martial, will they be able to penetrate that Liverpool defence that I don't believe has been as good this season as it was last season, considering the amount of goals that they've actually conceded. So that's my piece on this man. But what do you guys think?
Yeah. Obviously, Liverpool's not a possession team. Like, sometimes I watch Liverpool, and when Salah, Mane, and Firmino are they're missing a lot of chances or whatever. Like, you're kind of looking like where are the goals going to come from? Because the midfield is it's organised, but it's not an attacking midfield yet. Yeah, exactly. You got the Hendos, Fabinho, who will just clean up mess. Wijnaldum, who It's amazing for Netherlands. He almost plays like a centre forward at times, or a centre attacking mid. But Liverpool, he's a bit more of a defensively minded. You can't really call him a box to box. He's more of just like a centre mid, typical. So Man United will probably have a bit of possession, but you know what Liverpool are like. They'll at spells they'll just suffocate you, press you, and I think maybe the first. You remember the Arsenal game at Old Trafford? There was a period where Man United were actually doing all right. They were on the attack. We kind of looked a bit shaky, and I think Old Trafford can do that to you. It makes you a bit nervous. Last season, everybody thought that was just going to be a walk in the park. I think Herrera went off injured, and Rashford was carrying something. I think someone else was injured. And then we were like, well, this should just be a walk in the park. But Old Trafford's not like that. It's a different atmosphere.
Crystal Palace beat us there.
What's that?
Crystal Palace beat us
at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
Well. Man United, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that first 20 minutes is going to be crucial. Are Liverpool just going to be cautious? Because I've seen Klopp do that sometimes. Just be cautious against teams like Man United at Old Trafford. But if that first 20 minutes Liverpool score, I think it could be a long night, very long night. Pogba's out, see where the creativity is going to be in that midfield. But like you said, you can score goals against Liverpool this season, and you got Martial back, arguably your best finisher. I'd like to see how the rest of the team is set up.
I think Luke Shaw is also back, so I think which is a big help. So if Luke Shaw is back and Wan-Bissaka means Ashley Young over there, so.
That'll be an interesting battle, actually. Mane versus Wan-Bissaka.
Yes.
It's not a person you can get past easily, Wan-Bissaka, so we'll see how Mane can do that. That's me anyway.
Yeah, I think one of the major problems has been your midfield as well this season. I think you don't have... You do get a lot of positions, but you don't really create that many chances.
Yeah. But we knew that coming.
I always found that really strange because you have Pogba, you have people who really supposedly operate well in those areas, creating chances. The Mattes.
The problem is tactically is that every United fan who's honest themselves knew that we actually need to sign another midfield player in summer window, having let Herrera and Fellaini go. So we were 2 midfielders down already by summer, having let Fellaini go. We didn't replace them at all.
And Herrera was one of your best.
And Herrera was one of the best players, but the board treated him like crap, which was awful. So and having Herrera there allowed Pogba to because Herrera was one that can actually carry the ball and run the ball as well.
Pogba plays too deep now.
Now Pogba, exactly. So Pogba is playing very deep, presumably because Ole basically feels that Pogba is the only one that can actually do that role, that can actually carry the ball and lay the ball forward. McTominay and Fred can't do that really. Matic can't really do that, but he can make good long passes, but he can't really carry the ball. So because of that, Pogba is essentially playing a holding midfielder role, and McTominay is actually playing ahead of Pogba, which means that the actual clinical intensity passes, Pogba almost plays like he's playing a completely different game, because last season he was laying the ball to Rashford, to Lingard, to Martial. Now he's playing front of the back two, trying to take the ball, hold on to the ball, bring it out. No one's making a run. He loses the ball, and then that's it.
It's involved to have your the midfielder who's the destroyer be a bit more forward than your passing midfielder now, isn't it? You want to press higher up the field. But I think your defense has been really good. I think you had the third fewest shots conceded this season. But I think you're going to struggle to sort of create anything or get goals. Hopefully, maybe this break has hopefully reinvigorated the players a bit.
Well, better.
Actually, no, you do have 2 injuries.
Yes, we've got no injuries like De Gea, Pogba. It's just So,
but I think you're going to lose this match. But I don't think there's shame in it, because
I mean, there is as a United fan, like losing to Liverpool.
But to this
I mean,
Liverpool side,
this is what comes. It's just like, you know, I genuinely think that if we play badly and lose, this will be the end of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tenure at Manchester United.
I don't know. See, I think what works in Ole's favour is the lack of really viable alternatives. Unless you manage to pry Pochettino from.
Well, the rumours are that Allegri is being scouted.
Didn't he just? I read
which I'll post a video about that at some point, guys.
An interview where he said he doesn't speak English well enough yet to be able to take over Man United.
Okay.
Yeah.
Although I read another interview said that Patrice Evra's been part of the coaching staff, so I don't know whether, because Patrice Evra obviously does speak fluent English, whether he'd be
he's got a lot of energy. That could be interesting.
I think of all the potential coaches, Pochettino would probably be the best person to take over.
I see that. Although,
I could
he'll be the person to transform this, because it's kind of a mess from the top down, isn't it?
I mean, the only difference in Pochettino with that, the fact would be with Pochettino is that he'll at least be given money at Old Trafford. Tactically, I do still think that Poch sometimes just gets things a bit wrong.
I'm with you.
And on top of that, like, I'm not sure how much strength he has in terms of the background and stuff like that. So I'm seeing with Tottenham, for the life of me, I don't quite understand why he doesn't play Lucas Moura, who I'd argue is one of Tottenham's better players, and instead decides to go with like
the likes of
Lamella and Harry Kane, frankly, you know. So he slows the game down. I'm sorry, like I got
put him like a number 10. Like I watched this game in Bulgaria, and then I know he was playing up front, but like when he was dropping a bit deeper, like some of the passes he was playing, it looked effortless. So like I'd rather, I know he's a finisher, and like put him in the box, he's gonna 9 times out of 10 that's going in. But I prefer him like in a number 10 role. Yeah, because he can't really get in behind strikers, things like that. So I see where you're coming from.
So yeah, before we move on, I just think that as a United fan, that this is going to be. I hope that we get a result, and history tells me that we will. Because can anyone remember the last time? Man United have been bad for the last 6 years, but I cannot remember the time when Liverpool actually came to Trafford and won, irrespective of how bad the teams have been. So that tells me something. You know, if you can't beat a 10-man crooked injured team with the same team that you had last season, then the only thing is that momentum is with Liverpool. I think, you know, there's a lot of they want to win, they want to be unbeaten, they want to continue. It'll just be a question of whose defence will be able to hold out longer, really, United's or Liverpool's. So we will wait and see. So moving on, this dude, Neymar Junior, Neymar is becoming a bit like. What would you describe him? Almost like the banter of modern football now. Like he's like everyone thinks he's good, but actually, when you look at what he's achieved in the last couple of years, it's like you've got a Puskas, and you won the Champions League with Messi and Suarez. What 4 years ago now, something like that, maybe.
On the Olympic gold.
And the Olympic gold.
And the Copa America.
Yeah, but he didn't win the Copa America. He wasn't in the team.
Oh, okay.
No. So he didn't even win. He didn't even help Brazil win the Copa America because he wasn't even in the team. People wanted that for him. Neymar is injured again on international duty and is out for about a month. Now, to be fair, he'll be back for important Champions Leagues games and what have you. But Lauren, hey man, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you, Lauren Krasniak. Neymar's one of the biggest memes. I mean that just summarizes the whole thing. Is that reasonable? Neymar's basically the meme of like modern football now. Is that a reasonable statement?
I've seen so many Neymar memes from the VAR thing with PSG and when Man United knocked them out of the Champions League. Yeah, so from then, and I've seen loads of that's all I've seen really. I haven't really seen him do anything else. But like I do, Neymar as a player, like he's kind of he's one of my favorite players. Like I just like you remember sort of the Ronaldinhos and Robinhos and those kind of players. Like they were ballers, but they could also score goals. You know, and Neymar is that good. Let's be honest. Like I saw his Santos highlights. Was it Santos or Sao Paulo? Yeah, and he's just got so much raw talent. So for him to do that at Barcelona and do whatever he did there was crazy. But no player is bigger than the football club. The PSG fans. It wasn't right for them to do that. They were calling him some pretty bad names.
He scored some important goals for them this season against PSG. Has.
But he was sort of treating the fans badly.
Very petulant.
Very and no football player is not one single football player. Even if you're the person that carries that club, it doesn't matter. No football player is bigger than that club.
But has Neymar really carried PSG though?
No, I mean
this is the thing, because when you have
some games,
when you have Mbappe,
I think Mbappe's probably more effective now.
Yeah.
He gets injured so much, Neymar, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Because what I've noticed is that when Neymar is not playing,
Di Maria plays fantastic.
Yeah. So is it
When
that
Neymar's not
he's
there.
carrying it, or is it that when
I-
Neymar is stunting the remaining of the PSG team, or is it that because as we said, we go back to the Real Madrid team, and we'll talk about Zidane's Real Madrid in a second. Neymar wasn't there, and PSG looked pretty good. So is it Neymar stunting PSG, or
I wouldn't say stunting, because he bailed them out quite a few times in Ligue 1 this season. I think three times he scored the last catch point. But I think that he doesn't the Mbappes and the other attackers, they get to play as well now, even when he's there. So I think Neymar actually regressed from his time in Barcelona. He's not quite as effective. His kind of reputation's gone down. And I think if PSG had to sell a player for whatever reason, to balance their books, they'd be more willing to sell Neymar than they would Mbappe. If I was them.
Think it could happen in January, potentially, or is it?
I think. Well, I hear that Barcelona have kind of cooled off on their interest because of their new rising star.
Yeah, well, because
Fancy
Footsie, yeah.
Burkina Faso.
Well, he was, but I think he's a Spanish national. He's playing for Spain, under 20, or something like that. So
that's what they do, and then never end up playing. So.
Well, to be honest,
he looks like a real deal.
Yeah, to be honest.
But
which Spanish force does Spain have though? If you think about
forward,
it,
is he?
Yeah,
essentially, because Costa is out. Is
Morata.
Out. Morata. Yeah, he's a walk-in.
Rodrigo, Valencia. Yeah, he's good. Young as well.
Yeah,
they got a few, not like superstars.
That's what yeah.
No one who owns that position.
No. Not like a Raul or something back in the day,
or even Diego Costa a few years ago.
True.
Or David Villa.
Torres.
Torres. Yeah.
Torres. Chiefs. Yeah. But I think that's about it really.
Yeah. Neymar is We'll see. I think, but I just think that there's a lot of potential there that's just going to drain. And
how old is he now? Like 26?
27. So he should be in his prime, but he's spending most of his time injured. And I just think that
I couldn't care less about him now.
That's what I was thinking. I was kind of waiting for the next topic.
Yeah.
Since that World Cup.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
He's more celebrity than
footballer now.
Unfortunately,
you're not really focused on that now. I mean, I just prefer players. I prefer players that just show what they do on the pitch, and that's it. I've heard some brilliant stories about Conte. Some of the work that he does back in his home country and stuff, and you would never know about it unless you dug it out and researched it, because he just gets on with his day. He's not in the public eye doing all these things. And he's just doing it because he wants to. And then you see him on the pitch, and he's just a complete animal. And that's what you just like to see, players just getting on with their job and not causing a spectacle.
It's the Neymar saw on all the ads, aren't they? Making all the money.
Yeah. Conte. I mean, you probably could market Conte too, but yeah, Neymar is, of course, he's very marketable. So yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, watch this space. We'll come back to the Champions League progresses, and will Neymar can continue to be a meme.
It's so boring.
Yeah, international football is. To be fair, what I would say though, before we go on, it's a different topic, is that I actually think that the Nations League was much more entertaining than European. I wish they would just even qualifiers, because the qualifiers. This is a side topic. Sorry guys, but the thing with the qualifiers is that the way they seed the groups, most of the games are just between maybe one big team, one small team, or lesser teams that just don't matter. No offense, but uninteresting to watch. Whereas in the UEFA Nations League, because they were in groups of teams that were similarly ranked, the games were more competitive, and of course there was something to play for. So you would tune in to watch Germany versus Netherlands and England versus Spain, and there was something to play for. It was more competitive. So I would rather they scrap the whole European qualifiers and just have a UEFA Nations League like set up and do things that way, so then like this boring, England goes and plays against, because then you wouldn't have England playing against Bulgaria, frankly. That wouldn't happen, like, because not even you'd have England playing against Spain, against Germany, and really testing them. So I agree. So there we go. Long questioning is Long Krasnick is back. Neymar is not the same as he was when he played for Santos. Yes, and seem to carry him in the point. Yeah, he's not. He's not. He's not. We agree. Right, moving off Neymar, or banter Neymar. Zidane. Zidane's Madrid. Last time I checked, I think Real Madrid are actually top of the Liga now.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people are wondering. But how? Because how exactly are Real Madrid on top of the Liga, especially when you look at the Champions League form, and you got spanked by PSG, and frankly were lucky to draw against Club Brugge at home.
I think, go on.
Hashtag to that guy, by the way, I've forgotten his name, the Club Brugge forward.
Nigerian
guy
who did the
Ronaldo celebration at the
so
the scoring his brace. It was just disrespectful. it was I don't just shout out to him, man. Let me know. Everyone in the comments just told me what reminded of his name, but it was funny. But I mean, I didn't even know whether Real Madrid are actually going to qualify from this group. Can you imagine Real Madrid in the Europa League? I'm being serious here. Can you? But it's feasible, isn't it?
Yeah, La Liga's gone downhill because I remember, I don't know how many games in the season was, but I think it was like Granada or something was top. I think they were recently promoted. I was like, well, what is this? Like, I don't know. You wouldn't really see anything like that in the Premier League or Bundesliga or.
Seem to kind of think it's still early days, but actually it's not.
No,
it's 8 matches.
Matches in exactly, and you're like. But like
it's not as good as it was La Liga for me. Like,
I just think that's just something to do with more Spanish football,
right?
I mean, looking at it. I mean, looking at the table now. To be fair, after 8 games, Real Madrid are top, then Barcelona. So Real Madrid have got 18 points, Barcelona 16, Atletico on 15, and Granada on 14. So it does feel like normal service has sort of resumed in a way. But it's just the quality, the quality is kind of.
And when you think about it, teams like Real Madrid, like the Champions League it's like their cup, isn't it? So their first game they drew. It was their first game. Club Brugge was the second one.
They did draw against. Was it on?
Not Dot. No. Who
No,
else
so they've only played 2. It's only been two games.
But they drew the first.
No. They lost to PSG away, and then they drew against Club Brugge at home. So they only got 1 point in the group.
And who's the other person in the group? Do you know?
So these will have back-to-backs.
Because PSG, I think they narrowly beat them.
Let's have a quick look.
It's not Olympiacos, is it?
No, it's not Belgium. It might. I think it might be Olympian.
Oh, okay, maybe Tottenham.
Galatasaray. Which you'd expect will be fine, but then they are the first game I think is away in Turkey,
very tricky.
And Turkey it's just if you can't cope with Club Brugge, then Turkey is going to be
Do you think? I mean, obviously they're drawing and losing, but do you think it's the manner as well? Because anytime it seems like that you attack Real Madrid, it just looks like you're going to score. Like the defense looks all over the place.
Yeah.
Well, you've been watching the highlights.
Just mention Lauren Krasnik's point. Sorry, just to say, in my opinion, Madrid has been very lucky. They have been poor this season. Agree. I still think that Barcelona will win the league. Fair enough, And to be fair, I actually kind of agree with that because Messi, if Messi comes back, if Messi plays, Messi will win the league for Barcelona. I just think he's just that good that he still can carry Barcelona at this age. But you're right, Team Zakage. Madrid, it's just essentially their midfield. It's similar. Funny enough, they're having the same problems as Manchester United, I think. The only difference I would maybe argue is that I think that defensively United are probably better than Madrid because Sergio Ramos is past it, frankly. But midfield-wise, I think Casemiro is gone. Now Modric is nowhere near as good as he was. Kroos is gone.
Kroos is okay.
He's
but
okay, but
he's
not
disinterested.
Right.
And he needs. And he usually needs a good Modric with him because Modric's form is gone. I think Kroos is.
Do you think Real Madrid were banking on that whole Pogba thing? Because
a bit too much.
Because if I'm honest, right, they loaned Ceballos, and Ceballos has been one of our best players.
Yes.
So I'm thinking, you loan a player like that, and
I think
Ceballos versus Pogba this season, Ceballos has been better than Pogba. So I'm thinking, why would you loan someone like that out? I don't know if it's the arrogance thing, like we don't, you know what I mean?
I feel they don't want him.
Right. Okay.
Because they have James.
His career.
They have
James.
some other midfielder.
Well, they sold Kovacic. To Chelsea.
And the thing that's baffling is they bought what was it, 300 million.
Yeah, on what though? Like,
and then where are these players?
That's what I was
So
thinking.
well, let's review things because I want to talk about Gareth Bale in a second, but let's just talk about these specific signings. So let's talk about Courtois, who's basically been trash.
Was he
last season?
Last season,
It's Eden Hazard.
Eden Hazard. Let's talk.
Not really got going.
Mendy, the left back.
Yeah.
Is he?
Has he been playing?
Marcelo.
No.
Zidane likes Marcelo, I think.
And then the forward, Jovic,
who seems so underwhelming. Doesn't
Yeah,
He's not
I
even
know
an
he was.
understudy.
He was injured too.
They
He
would
got
think
silent.
of sending him out on loan as well,
Right.
which is he's for 70 million.
So that is that all the signings then? Hazard, Mendy,
Then they
and
have
Jovic.
Eden Militao, the defender.
Yeah, and I mean it's any defender's going to take a while to just he looks okay, but he's
Varane is probably the mainstay, isn't he?
yeah.
And they won't take Ramos out at this time.
Yeah, so you're going to concede goals basically. So it's just as simple as that, really. So
And
just
Courtois has not been a good signing.
Courtois has been
Is Navas? They sold him or is
Navas is
he
at
on
PSG now.
Is it
On
a
loan.
loan or is it?
I think he's gone and sold him. Yeah, I think.
Because they brought Alphonse Areola.
Yeah, I think they switched different ways. So Navas went.
But Areola's definitely a loan. I know that much.
Right.
I don't know
Okay.
if Navas is a permanent sale.
Courtois
That's always
just-
a weird one.
Courtois just
Keylor
been-
Navas is probably it's one of my favourite keepers.
Yeah, I never understood that.
Courtois is just his banter keeper, to be honest. It really is like.
Didn't he get subbed off in
He
the
did.
Club Brugge match?
And people were saying it was anxiety. But actually the club came out and said in regards to this, he was unwell, like physically.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Fair enough.
If it happens to Karius, then anyway. People say all kinds of things.
Long Krasniak. I think that Valverde is relying too much on Messi, and that's why it hasn't been successful. I
think
agree.
Valverde, anyway, yeah.
Well, because I guess the topic is Zidane and Madrid, although this is, I guess, a Liga thing. Valverde is a very average banter coach, to be honest.
Yeah, he doesn't always know.
And I'll say this out right now: Barcelona are not going to win the Champions League. They're not going to win the Champions League. They're
Not with
just
him
not.
at the helm.
Not yeah, exactly. They'll probably get through to the quarters. I would
Maybe
say,
semis, yeah.
depending on who they draw against. If they draw Liverpool again, game over. I'm sorry. There's just no. I actually think Liverpool were unlucky last season at at the Camp Nou not to score goals. They could have scored at least a couple, a lot of chances.
Barcelona, everything was just going in for them. It was one of those games and nothing.
On another day, they will just bury those chances, and the deficit could have been like 7 or 8-0 to Liverpool, basically. Manchester City, I think, same, even though the defence is weak.
Definitely better. I think even Paris, if they get their act together, can probably.
The only thing on with PSG, and we'll move on to the topic in a second, so it's just that I don't know whether now there's a psychological element, because I feel like when something happens quite a few times, psychology starts to sort of, because let's be frank here, literally a previous season.
He loves to bring this up. I know what he's going to say.
A previous season, 6-0. Barcelona, and then the United.
Man United's B team.
Yeah,
I knew you were going to say.
Man United's B team. In Paris, you could argue against Barcelona. They were at the Camp Nou, and that was still a fight. They ceded 5 goals. This was in Paris.
Wasn't there another collapse? There was one to Real Madrid, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't think it was a collapse. I think they did beat Real Madrid in Paris, I think, and then when they went to the Bernabeu, I think they conceded a few goals. But I wouldn't have said it was a collapse. I think it was just like it was against Real Madrid. They
just need to get past that that last 16 spot.
Make it to the final 8 for it.
Like with the team they got now, Idris Gueye
and Herrera even. They should. They should.
Yeah.
If they can't, you sack the coach. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's it. Obviously, League One is guaranteed every season. The Champions League, is depends whether you stay or not.
Yeah.
So I mean, they have to with that team. Like you said, if they don't, then it's completely.
I think they just got to make sure that Liverpool top their group and don't finish second. This is the problem with Liverpool. It's like Liverpool just kind of like, right, we're going to do really bad in the group stage and finish second. And every top team will go, but I don't understand.
There's a few ones that can finish second. There can be a problem. Because I think Dortmund's group, that has Barcelona.
It does. And Inter Milan.
Yeah, and so there's a few groups where if someone finishes second, it's not necessarily there.
So I'll move on to topics. So because we'll probably have a Champions League conversation on Monday, actually, when the Champions League resumes next week, is it? Or the week after, yeah. So we'll have a conversation for that podcast. Sorry, just because we still got a few things to score, and I know it's getting late. Just a quick comment from Lawrence Krosniak. PSG is such a weird club. They played Dani Alves as centre midfield. We all know he's not a centre midfielder. I agree, although I do rate Dani Alves. I think he's a work ethic.
Apparently, he doesn't rate the Parisians.
Dani Alves, of course. Yeah, he'd say that. I rate Arturo Vidal, though. Vidal is a beast. I'm not saying that because I play him in PES. Right, moving on. Oh, and a brief mention to Gareth Bale. Zidane, what Zidane's doing to Gareth Bale, in my opinion, is wrong.
Yes, I think we all.
I think we all agree with that. Team Chicago, do you agree with that? With what he's doing, Gareth Bale is wrong, and Gareth Bale is arguably, I still think, one of Real Madrid's better players.
He's been the best player this season, hasn't he?
What is it? What is contract till? 2020 something.
Yeah.
So he's chilling in
it.
Yeah. No one's going to buy that out. I don't think.
And then obviously the assumption is like, I think obviously if by the way Bale sees it, it's like, well, what happens if he gets Zidane gets sacked? I'm still going to be here, aren't I? Even if Madrid are top of the Liga, I still think it's possibly a sackable offence if Real Madrid drop into the Europa League. That's possibly sackable, I think. But we'll see. Right, moving on. Lukaku, Conte, Inter. Last weekend, that's before the international break, Inter actually played Juventus and they lost just. Lukaku's first touch is still, is non-existent, almost trampoline-esque, and cost them the game, arguably. But up until that point, Inter Milan were undefeated and won pretty much all their games. I think Juventus are top now, if that's correct. So, what essentially this one was like, what are Inter's chances of actually winning this Serie A title? Do you think Conte is good enough? Do you think they have a strong enough squad? Though Sanchez is out injured. Apparently, I think Conte wants to get Matic in January, so that should be interesting. Is he just looking at the United squad and going like, right, I'll sign this player they don't want. I'll take. I'll just use them.
He doesn't have anyone he wants.
Just like keep on like I want Darmian, so Dom is gone. So what is Conte's chance into? Because Juventus obviously have won the title. I think it must be like, isn't it like 8? Is it 7 or 8 now back to back? Something ridiculous.
7 in a row?
I think it's 7 in a row. Can Inter Milan? Can Conte stop that?
Maybe when Ronaldo leaves, I don't know.
Ronaldo hasn't been that great.
I know, but just him being in a team,
I don't see it. I see them ending. Juve's.
Nah, neither do I, bro. While Ronaldo's still alive, it doesn't matter if he's crippled or whatever. Like him being in a squad just makes it infinitely better. I don't know, him just being there, he has this kind of. He makes everyone else around him good, you know.
Yeah, he's a talent.
The only thing I will say is that Juventus
are so well stocked as well.
They're stocked, yes, but the thing is, we've got to remember who the coach of Juventus is. It's Monsieur Sarri, and I just think that obviously Sarri wants to implement his system, and we saw with Chelsea that it didn't kind of work, and I'm not kind of sure whether Juventus players that are there can play the type of system that Sarri wants to play. So my only concern is that, like, when you come against maybe certain games, certain teams, when he's wanting to play a certain system and it doesn't really work, and how and this is only observing what happened at Chelsea, there didn't seem to be really any plan B or any change. It just seems to just fall apart, whereas Conte really knows like how to set up a team structurally, defensively, and frankly, against Juventus, they should have. I won't say they should have. It should have been a draw. They weren't completely outplayed, so it wasn't like they were completely done and dusted. So on a 13th season,
but I would just disagree with you about Sarri. I think he's quite underrated for what he did in Chelsea. It was his first season.
No, I agree.
He managed to get third. He won the Europa League.
Agree.
Very convincingly. Unfortunately.
No, I'm not saying that obviously Sarri's performance was so long question game. Why didn't Real let him go to China? I've got no idea why they didn't. I've still got no idea why they didn't. First come. We're just gonna quickly speed through this, but quickly, Team Takage, do you think Inter have a chance to the title? So I see the time.
I think it'll be a close one, but not while Ronaldo's there.
No, Ronaldo's there. Okay, fair enough. Right, moving on. This dude, Robert Lewandowski, the Bayern Munich. He's been on fire, I think, this season. There's only been 7 or 8 games, but he's scored in pretty much all of them. We saw his performance against Spurs at their new stadium, as well as Gnabry as well, and just kind of just bullied them basically. Just absolutely bullied them.
That finishing, it was a masterclass.
It was, and the thing is, I've always been an outside critic of Lewandowski because I feel like he's basically a Farmers League merchant, who. When it comes to big occasions, yeah, exactly. Maybe Arsenal fans would say that Tottenham is a small team, so maybe there's nothing new here, really. So it's not. So he still needs to prove himself. But his performance has been so good for Bayern, this season. I guess the question is, do you think he'll be able to keep it going? So because again, for Poland, anytime a World Cup or Euro happens, he's just been non-existent. It's just so non-existent.
Poland is so boring. Like it's in general though to watch.
It's just the manager, yeah. So you can say, say that fair enough,
Yeah.
So because you can say that even when Messi struggles with Argentina, but at a club level, when it comes to again the echelons of the Champions League and the group stages, again non-existent, not there. Not really stepping up. So this for me is what happens if we're now saying Lewandowski is one of the best players in the world. As soon as we get to last of the Champions League and Sadio Mane is still scoring goals, Salah's still scoring goals, Sterling's still scoring goals, and Lewandowski is like, job's done. I'm not going to do anything, Then
and the other thing about him is he's always critical of his club.
Is
and
he?
their transfer dealings,
Mm.
which I don't know, just comes up as a bit jarring. He has this war words with his with the club's CEO. Is it Beckenbauer?
Beckenbauer, yes,
A lot of the time,
yeah. No, I agree. Yeah.
But yeah, he's been really great this season.
He has, yeah. You can't fault that.
And how old is he now? 32, 31? He's not that young anymore.
No.
Which is even more
I
impressive.
didn't even know he was that old, to be honest.
Oh, he's been around.
Right, okay. Yeah.
He's
Remember
got.
his Borussia Dortmund days.
I think this is a season, if any, because their defense isn't great, but it's good. Like Boateng isn't good, but the rest of them are good. Pavard, Hernandez, Alaba, and then they've got Sule as well.
Yeah, I think the centre back pairing is what will cost. That's the only thing where.
It's just when Boateng plays, that's the only thing he's not. The other one's fine. Like Sule, I've seen him play quite a few times. He's good.
It wasn't good for Germany though. I saw that game again.
Against
when did they play?
no.
When they got spanked.
2-2.
Was it 2-2? Or yeah, when they came back, something like that. It was that. Oh, I think it was the one beforehand. I think.
It was one against the Netherlands.
I think it was against Netherlands. I think when they lost in the same group and they just.
But because their attack is so good, midfield is good too. I think this is. I mean, it's not the best Bayern team ever, but it's a really strong, young attacking.
They've actually performed better than I expected at the beginning of the season. I thought Dortmund, they have a really good chance this season.
I don't know. The thing with Dortmund is that I said on as a note to last season, it was like Dortmund look great going forward and very exciting, but they're just like a younger Liverpool where their defense is just trash. It's bad, and if they don't fix that, I think they brought Hummels back, which has sort of helped a bit, but they're still conceding goals, and Hummels is older than he was. It's not prime Hummels, you know.
And he was not that fast anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I don't feel they've really fixed their defensive issue, and I think that's one of the reasons why I think Dortmund will struggle again this season.
Yeah, it looks like it.
So there we go. But watch this space for Lewandowski. Right, okay. Almost done on the show. So we're just going to quickly look at some of the key games for the upcoming fixtures. And we're just going to quickly sort of go around with score predictions and then fantasy football tips, and then we'll be done. So first and foremost, Everton versus West Ham, Team Takage.
Everton is Goodison?
It's at Goodison, yes.
Well, Everton is still in the bottom.
I think Everton are
Everton not still in the bottom three.
Everton, I think, in the bottom three. There's a very good chance that Marco Silva might be sat. What is actually going on in Everton? Because it seems that every coach that goes there just cannot, and they're not getting bad coaches.
Yeah,
but it just seems that every single they spend money on I would argue decent players, but for some reason it just doesn't seem to work, and I don't know why. You can't tell me that Ronald Koeman is a bad manager.
No.
You can't tell me that.
Them to win in their first season or something.
I think it was maybe 5th or 6th or something. And then even Marco Silva, you can't tell me he's a bad manager. No. So I don't really understand. They've had managers with experience, and still their best manager in the last maybe 10 years was David Moyes.
It's a weird one.
It's very strange.
It's a weird one because, like you say, the players are there. Their attack is inconsistent. I don't know why. They seem to have I think have they had one win this season against Wolves, or was it a draw?
I think they've had one.
They beat Wolves. Yeah,
they've got Wolves. 7 points in total.
Mm-hmm. They make good signings every season, but something just doesn't click. I don't know if the players just. I mean, you get there's a lot of different nationalities and things like that, isn't there? So I don't know. Maybe it could be that
too. Because they lost the last game was they lost to Burnley away.
Yeah.
Lost to City.
But you kind of know with Everton they're going to get a good run, and then they'll finish in the table or something. Yeah, when they play Arsenal.
I mean, well, you look at these results. You look at Everton they lost to Burnley away, then obviously lost to City at home, lost to Sheffield United at home, lost to Bournemouth away, just beat Wolves 3-2 because Wolves had a man sent off. Lost to Aston Villa away. Beat Watford 1-0, who are also a banter team right now.
Yeah, but like we were saying, they'll have a run of form. They'll go and beat City. They'll go beat Arsenal. They'll
hopefully beat Arsenal.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't really matter. Like, City's one of those teams that we talk. I mean, Everton are one of those teams that we talk about, and they just end up doing well. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
That's it.
Okay, so moving on. So what's the score prediction? Sorry, we won't talk that much about the individual teams because we don't have time. But
West Ham have had a good little run. Yarmolenko's back. I was actually happy for him. He comes from Dortmund, didn't he? And he got a bad injury in the first season, so I'm glad he's doing well now. Haller looks good. I was surprised no one else picked him up. So I think
he's not scored that many goals, has he?
Nah, he's done okay. I think he's maybe on 3 or something, which is okay. He's a bit like a hold-up kind of player, not the quickest.
It's okay for your first.
Yeah, better than some players. I won't mention names, but yeah. So I'll probably go with West Ham on that one. 2-1.
okay,
I'll go with Mark Noble pen, and I'll go with Haller.
Okay.
And then I think maybe Richarlison will get one.
Okay.
2-1. Yeah.
Okay.
What's next?
So Ahmed, so Aston Villa at home to Brighton.
That's
Villa. Exciting this season.
That's a tough one to call, isn't it? How have Brighton doing in the last few games?
Brighton have been done.
Brighton beat Spurs.
Brighton beat Spurs 3-0. So pretty good. Pretty good. Brighton are actually 14th and Villa are 15th actually, so they're quite close on the table.
I think I liked a few of the buys that Brighton have made, like Trossard and.
They lost to Chelsea away. They actually lost. Probably enough, they actually lost to Aston Villa in the League Cup third round at home. But we take that seriously or not. Yeah, generally speaking, Brighton's games have been all right.
I'd go for a draw, I think.
Draw.
Yeah.
A goalless draw or
maybe a goal. Probably 1-1.
1-1. Okay. No, anyone to score them?
Maybe Trossard for Brighton and who would score for them?
McGinn's been on form for Scotland. He might have a good run. I don't know.
El Ghazi doing well.
He got 2 assists the other day.
Yeah.
Villa beat someone. Who was it? It was like 6 something. Norwich,
yeah.
Which is Norwich. I don't know anything.
It was away
no
as
Pookie,
well.
no problem.
Yeah. Did they have a man sent off, or was it just
No.
No.
Mad.
Yeah. It was inappropriate chanting as well, apparently.
Okay. I don't know about that.
You wouldn't think that from Norwich fans, would you?
No.
No.
But I don't know. I just remember maybe Tina. Yeah.
But those farmers.
Right. I will quickly go saying Tottenham at home to Watford. Tottenham. If Tottenham lose this game, then you have to ask the serious questions are wrong. Watford are basically at the bottom of the league right now.
City beat them how much?
Was it 8-0? Wasn't it?
It was a record.
No, there wasn't a record. Yeah, no, it was a record for City at 8-0. Spurs, there's no reason why Spurs don't win this game. Okay, this has been an international break, and maybe the Watford players can sort of, but I see at very least 3-0, probably 4-0, with maybe Kane, Son to score a brace, and possibly maybe Ali to get in there. They should be what. The only thing is maybe it's London, maybe London Derby, maybe they'll be more up for it. Is Troy Deeney going to be there? I don't know, but they should beat Watford. If they can't beat Watford at home, then I think you have to say something is really wrong.
Yeah, we'll say it though, but nobody else will. Do you know what I mean? Because people, I don't know if it's just because it's Spurs. People are kind of like, whatever.
No, people are saying that it's Pochettino, not calling obviously from the sack, but I think people are saying it's their crisis brewing.
Now people are more seem to be focused on oh, should Harry Kane be more ambitious and you know what I mean, and go to Man U, and should he, stuff like that, rather than talk, things like that, instead of talking about what's really going on.
It's fine. They'd say that the fact that people are talking about a potential crisis shows how far Spurs have come.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true. To be fair, that's true. I'll give them that one.
So I'll quickly finish. So just to wrap up. So I say 4-0 to Spurs.
Yeah.
Going back to Team Takage quickly. We'll be quicker. Sorry, guys. Wolves at home to Southampton.
See, Southampton are a weird team, They've had a few interesting results this season, so you can't really, I love their manager. He plays that kind of heavy metal club football. And you never really know with Southampton. I want to say that they'll probably might pick up a draw here. Wolves haven't been great this season, but shout out for them to doing well in the Europa League. I think
they just beat Manchester City
as well, 2-0.
Yeah, away from home.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
So that'll be
Adama Traore. Yeah,
and they played well as well.
They did. Yeah, I hope they play more like that.
Adama Traore.
Well, not when we play them, but
not when we played them. I'll still go 2-2 though, because they're a bit inconsistent this season.
Okay.
2-2.
Yeah, don't have to go into scoring. Right. Ahmed, Chelsea, Newcastle. Chelsea at home to Newcastle.
I think we'll be Chelsea.
Okay.
Race
From Tammy Abraham.
Yeah.
He's probably in form and coming to fantasy football picks, but if you haven't got Tammy Abraham in your squad, I certainly recommend putting him in.
Yeah.
Bournemouth v Norwich. I think Bournemouth will win. Norwich look like they're in horrendous form right now, and they need to kind of get out of this form fairly quickly. Pukki, I loved him in the first 3-4 games. He's not scored in the last maybe 3. And Bournemouth at home, Eddie Howe generally knows how to sort of, put a team on, coach teams of performance. So I'd be very surprised if Bournemouth lost this game. Eddie Howe generally is a very good coach, and fair play to this guy because he's basically cemented Bournemouth as a Premier League club. No one thinks about Bournemouth as they're going to go down. They're just a stable club.
There's respect on their name. Yeah. There's no this crisis here at Bournemouth or the struggling for the
No, exactly.
There's never anything surrounding
relegation.
There's nothing.
No. And he's been he must have been here for it must be at least 5+ years. Because forget about the Premier because he was with them obviously when they were in the Championship or something like that. So he must have been there for at least. He must be one of the now the longest serving managers of
English
the Premier League
at current.
Just in general, because I can't think of another Premier League manager in terms of team.
He's been there quite a while.
I think Howe was with Bournemouth before
Pochettino came
to
He's definitely
Spurs.
English, but I think you.
Pochettino isn't he the second longest serving coach in Europe right now?
Right.
Bournemouth, because the thing is, obviously, with Eddie Howe, he was obviously there with. I'm counting obviously when he was with Bournemouth before they came to the Premier League, exactly.
Maybe you're right, yeah.
So I have a feeling it's at least 5 years, if not maybe more than that. So fair play to him. So I think Bournemouth will win this. And I said they'll continue. They'll be a mid-table club, and they'll just continue being a mid-table club, and they're happy with that. But that's fine. Probably 2-0 to Bournemouth with Callum Wilson and Ryan Fraser to get involved. Quickly, we've got 4 more just quick to go. So, Team Takage, Leicester City at home to Burnley.
Oh, man, I love Leicester this season. Leicester, it reminds me of their title winning season.
Yeah.
They're playing with such freedom. And Didi is. He's not as good as Conte, but he's near. He's one of the best. For me, he's one of the best holding midfielders in world football. Maddison is having a great season. Hopefully, he'll recover back soon. We were talking earlier. He was meant to be playing. He said he was injured for England, and he was found in a casino. So we were like, okay, but whatever's going on, we hope he's all right because he's a great footballer, absolutely great footballer. There's, it's one of those teams. It's like title winners. It's an average team pretty much, but they're just balling. I think are they third still? No, we're third.
They're fourth.
Fourth,
Yeah.
okay.
But again, they have a good coach.
Absolutely.
So Brendan Rodgers is a good. So they've had multiple managers since the thing, and didn't really kind of click. And now you have Brendan Rodgers, who's a very, very good coach.
He has a very clear vision.
Exactly.
Of football he wants to play.
Exactly. You know, which is essentially similar to like the Pep sort of style, except just a bit more new, but slightly different. But you know,
and
this is what happens, I think, when you have a good coach, because people, I think, especially some Liverpool fans, forget that Brendan Rodgers certainly developed a lot of the players that were there. He helped to develop. He made Sterling and Firmino and even Coutinho, I think, at the time, and helped them to get better.
The season they finished second, where they had a good title race going on. So that team was pretty average, bar Luis Suarez, wasn't it?
Well, they had Sterling, and
but Sterling was young.
Sterling was nowhere near what he is now.
Yeah.
Sterling was young.
And Gerrard was
past it, way past it.
Well,
he was past it.
Or the slip, you know. Everyone remembers that.
And was it Lovren and Skato?
Yeah.
Brendan Rodgers did really well.
They did really well. Sustained the tackle.
Glenn Johnson.
Suarez wasn't even in for the first. Was it 10 matches because of the biting?
Oh yeah.
Man, that's it. Had he actually
been there all season?
And
I think
then
they
he did it
won
again.
Yeah.
I think he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All 3 times.
So score prediction quickly.
Which is after Leicester.
Yeah. Leicester at home to Burnley.
I honestly want Leicester to finish top 4 this season. I think they can. So I think they'll probably put Burnley away, maybe 3-1. I'll give them 3-1.
Yeah, I think it'll be difficult. I think Burnley as a team, especially because you know what Burnley are going to do. They're going to just dig deep, and I just think that I agree. I think Leicester will win it, but I just think if you have like a guy like whether it's Chris Wood or Ashley Barnes in that box that just then you just lob it up, there's always a chance that like they will score. Just them being in the box, you know. They did it against you guys, and I'm sure they're going to do it against United as well.
I want them to lose.
Burnley.
Just because of Ashley Barnes.
Just because Ashley Barnes. That's just the type of player. He's a thug, but he's a thug in the box and he scores goals, you know. So, anyway, Ahmed, Crystal Palace at home to Manchester City.
Oh. Crystal Palace have been doing quite well recently, haven't they? I think they're
They beat United, didn't they?
Yeah.
They're 6th. But they're level on points with Leicester, who are 4th.
Yeah.
It's 1 goal difference. But I think City are going to bounce back. They lost the last match. So I'm going to give them a 2-0 win.
Bearing in mind that if Crystal Palace do somehow beat City,
They'll be above
City.
So,
it'll mean that City will fall out of the top 4, you know. So
Crystal Palace love Manchester teams this season, so.
I mean, the big. I think we all know City will win, but I just think that, like, again, the Wolves game showed that, like, defensively, City are
their vulnerabilities.
Vulnerabilities. Otamendi. I've always said this, and I hold into it. Otamendi is a banter defender. I just think he is. When he's with someone good, it's fine. Or if he's got very good protection, it's fine. Or when City are putting 6 or 7 past Watford, fine. But if someone goes and runs at him, like Traore did against him, and sit him, it was painful. You just saw him just sit him down twice.
I've never seen someone defend like that. He always like goes to ground so quickly, and it's happened so many times now.
I don't know. Is that a rush to the head?
I think he's impatient, or like David Luiz sometimes does it. He did it against Liverpool twice. I'm just like, what are you doing? What are you thinking? Like, just
stay your ground.
Because what Hodgson will see is that if we just defend well, like Wolves did, okay, and take our chances, we got a shot. The only thing is maybe that you could argue, do Crystal Palace have the forward play to finish it? Can Zaha maybe cause a bit of damage? And I don't know.
Ayu's been good this season too.
Exactly, So because that's essentially what they did against United. They just defended well and then ball up the top. You know, Maguire Lindelof and didn't sort of what they're
I
doing.
think,
You know, they could do that
I agree.
all over the top. Otamendi in no man's land, and then pass it in through. So
what's the score prediction?
2-0
to City.
to City.
Who's to score them?
Aguero.
Aguero.
And who else has been scoring? And Sterling.
Certainly.
I've got Palace. You know.
You've got Palace.
I've got Palace.
I
Actually got Palace.
That's
I think it'll be 1-0.
Yeah.
I just think
did City
lost their last match.
Did City actually beat Palace away last season?
I think Palace beat them 3-2, wasn't it?
No, Palace beat City 3-2 at the Etihad, which was funny. But I can't remember whether the reverse fixture, whether Crystal Palace actually beat. Let me just before we finish. I have a feeling that they did just, or maybe it was a draw. Sorry. You okay? We're almost done, guys. Crystal Palace versus City quickly. Come on. Sorry. Is it 2018? Was it? Yeah, head to head.
Check on that.
Yeah, so they lost. So City lost at home at the Etihad. But I want to see where's the other one?
Previous results.
Yeah, City won. I think it was 3-1.
3-1.
Yeah.
3-2. 0-0.
Yeah, 3-1 to City at. So there's a possibility. Okay, last two games, and then we'll just pick each fantasy football. United against Liverpool on Sunday. I'm going to be doing my preview tomorrow, so I won't go into a lot about that tonight because we're running out of time. But I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. 1-1 United Liverpool. Anthony Martial to score and then Sadio Mane to score. I think that's being optimistic. But massively, but I do also have history on my side, so in that Liverpool, I cannot remember the last time Liverpool went to Old Trafford and won. And ultimately, if you can't beat a 10-man crooked Manchester United side last season with most of your players injured and you finish the worst team, I think even United have a slightly better team, arguably, this season going into this game on Trafford than did at that time last season. And the fact that Liverpool's defence, I just don't think is as good as it was. They're relying on essentially Mane and Firmino to do a job. I think defensive-wise, I think United have a better defence.
Interesting.
I think they do. And if Martial and if we can finish, then we can beat Liverpool if we can finish. Because I think defensively, I don't think we're going to concede that many goals. If we can finish, so I go with a 1-1. And then lastly, I'll leave it to the Arsenal fans. Sheffield United at home to Arsenal Football Club.
Yeah. No, we'll talk about that after. But
Oh, Ile United. Hi, mate. I'm late. Wow. thanks for joining in, mate. Appreciate it. So we're almost ending the stream, but thank you for commenting, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Monday night is a bit of a. We've had a few of those now. We played United on Monday. Keep giving us these games. They're a bit weird, but I think honestly, Sheffield they set up so well against Liverpool. Mm-hmm. I just think because this isn't like a big team, Emre's not going to do anything outrageous and try a new formation or So he's just going to take it as he's just going to take it as another game. Like I said, I know he's back in training. He'd probably be on the bench. I don't know if he'll start. Tierney seems to be ready, so that's very positive. Although Kolasinac not had a bad season, he hasn't. But I think maybe that's probably because of the competition. That's the only thing, because he's probably comfortable knowing that there wasn't anyone really to fight for when Monreal wasn't there. And he was just kind of chilling while Tierney was injured. So I think, like as far as attack goes, like we're scoring pretty easily. Aubameyang will probably be itching to get his 50th. He got
United, come on, Sheffield United beat Banter FC.
Banter FC. Funny guy. He's Man United, isn't he?
Yeah, he's Manchester United fan. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just love it that this season, or whatever Emery wants to do, like we've got so many options now. That's the difference. Our bench is actually really, really strong. Our youngsters aren't just youngsters; they're actually like good, really solid.
Yeah.
Arguably first team players.
Yeah.
Saka is a first team player now, pretty much. I don't know what's going to happen when Lacazette comes back in, but Saka is fantastic. Nelson has played well. Emil Smith-Rowe, I think, is injured, but he's played fantastic. It's just the only thing I'm worried about in this game is...
We're not even mentioning Guendouzi as the
jeez, that guy. He's just... I don't know. I've got nothing but praise for him.
Yeah,
he's only 20 or whatever.
Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah, and he plays so mature. It's the only... Obviously, it's Arsenal for the past how many years is defence. What defence are you going to go with? Because...
But also your away record. Your away record is not good.
Yeah, but I think that's probably because of options from the bench too. So like,
was that the same reason last season?
Yeah, because we didn't have anybody to come up. Yeah, there's no one to just.
And I think the setup of our midfield isn't great as well.
Nah.
The way Xhaka is playing holding role, he doesn't work for that.
It doesn't.
And
work.
I don't know why. Emery is.
So do you think the reason why? So you think the reason why you've been having such a poor away record because it's the same issue as from last season to this season is because of the lack of options. Because I want to highlight this because is it Emery?
I think a lot of it is Emery personally.
Because the way that he sets up his team, going away from him, for me, when you went, there's no reason why Arsenal couldn't have beaten Manchester United at Old Trafford with the quality that you had. Especially given that Crystal Palace did. There's no reason why that we could. We had an injury. So why was it that still...
they think it's too much.
That didn't happen. And we're against a Sheffield United side who, to be honest, were lucky against Liverpool. Liverpool was still the better team overall, I think. So they deserved to win. But Sheffield United were not pushovers.
It's because they were they didn't allow the fullbacks to the bomb off forward. They had someone marking there all the time. That's what City did as well in the what's it called, Community Shield.
Yeah,
they did the same thing. But yeah, I think it's too much tinkering, like my brother said here. Liverpool, we joke about their midfield sometimes with Henderson and blah blah blah, but Klopp hasn't changed that midfield for God knows how long, and it works. Everybody knows how they play now. Like our midfield three changes almost every game,
constantly. And during the game, so many times,
and we don't know whether it's going to be Torreira, Guendouzi, or Xhaka.
I assume Ozil's not going to be playing. By the way, is he just?
That's another debate for a different day.
So yeah, that we'll save that to Monday. Red Devil Studio podcast episode 9.
But yeah, Arsenal got this game.
Okay, so score predictions.
I'm not so optimistic.
You're not so. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking a draw.
A draw.
Yeah. Given how Sheffield, I think they're really good going forward, and they're quite compact.
They're good at home as well. Yeah.
They put 2 past Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, as people were aware. They've had a good run of results.
We don't create that fluently away from home. That is the worrying thing.
Too comfortable at the Emirates, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna back up. I'm gonna back them this time. I might eat my words, but
okay.
I think it's gonna be scrappy. And I think we're gonna get a 2-1 win. Aubameyang to get his 50th, and another goal will come somewhere, hopefully.
Okay, so
Pepe will come good.
So 2-1 to Arsenal, was it?
Yeah, and I think they said 1-1.
1-1. Okay, fine. Okay, so just almost finished. Fantasy Premier League. Before we end the stream, top picks, advice. Everyone goes around just one player who you think is a must to include in your Fantasy Premier League this weekend. Team Takage?
I got Tammy Abraham.
Tammy Abraham.
Playing Newcastle, obviously. Chelsea's at home. Tammy's top scorer. Enough said, really. Enough said, and he's quite cheap, relatively.
Okay.
Yeah. I was going to say Tammy. No, I think I'll put. Actually, I think Aubameyang will score. Maybe we won't win, but I think Aubameyang will score.
Yeah,
so it might be.
He usually does. Yeah.
Who are Liverpool playing against? We've just talked about it, but who are they playing against?
Liverpool.
Yeah.
United.
Yeah, of course they are. That shows how bad. Oh, United. Sorry, we put in predictions. Sorry, I'll just quickly read them. Yeah, we're just about to end the stream. United, Everton 1, West Ham 1, Spurs 2, Watford 0, Chelsea 4, Newcastle 0. I think that's actually a reasonable prediction, to be honest. Leicester 2, Burnley 0, Aston Villa 2, Brighton 0, Wolves 2. Fine.
All right.
Fair enough. Who would I include in my fantasy Premier League? That's a good question, actually. I think I'd also, if we call my Chelsea players, I'd include Mason Mount as well. If Mason Mount's playing from an assist point of view and from goals, he seems to be quite. He's playing. Lampard is playing him ahead of, I think, Jorginho now. I think maybe in the midfield.
Barkley at least.
And Conte, I think, is out injured as well. So you know that Mason Mount is probably going to play. So I think he's an on-turn. He's quite cheap as well right now, Mason Mount as well. So and he probably will get a goal or assist. So that's one to sort of to stay tuned for. Right. Thanks everyone for watching. Just over an hour now. If you like what you're hearing, please like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back again, and we'll try and do these. Consistently, ideally Monday evenings. Let me know what you think. Have a nice evening, guys, and cheers.